He uplifts people and doesn't even know he's doing it. That's just who he is. Steve, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Tracy. You're making me blush. I don't know how to respond to that.
For the person listening who's going through a lot right now, what's something you want them to hear from you?
Everyone struggles and we all struggle, right? But you don't need to struggle alone. I feel like, based on my own experience only, if I'm to share some of my struggles with the people that I care about, most of the weight goes away.
What's been your biggest lesson about people and growth?
I've learned that you can go so much further by having the right people around you. I just think there's so much more that you can do, and you can go so much further by bringing good people together.
What's one thing you think businesses need more of?
Not to toot my own horn here, but I think more, particularly professional services business that I engage with, could do with someone like me. My role within a law firm or an accounting firm or anything like that is super unique.
And welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles, where we discuss all things business, branding and life from the Horizon Digital podcast recording studio here in Perth. I'm your host, Tracy, the founder of Design Studio Perth, and to celebrate the launch of Season 2 of the show, Design Studio Perth is offering all our audience a free brand discovery. So if you find yourself simply frustrated with haphazard brand presentation and messaging and are ready to level up your brand, use the link in the show notes below to book in a time to have a chat. Now, the Real Biz Life Chronicles is on a mission to become one of Australia's leading business podcasts, but in order to do that, we please need your help. So if you do enjoy this episode, we please ask that you like and subscribe to our channels below. What happens when someone spends their entire career building others up without ever asking for the spotlight? You get a story like this one. From executive recruitment to law firm leadership, from black tie disco fundraisers with chicken treat to rallying 300 men to walk 25 Ks for mental health. This guy doesn't build networks, he builds momentum, he builds connection, and he builds community. He's spent years helping businesses grow, support causes that matter, and quietly show up for people when it counts. Ask anyone who knows him, and they'll tell you the same thing. Steve's a giver. He's a giver of his time, his heart, his attention, and never expects anything in return. He uplifts people and doesn't even know he's doing it. That's just who he is. He's the guy who sends handwritten notes of encouragement, who checks in just because, who leads with empathy, follows through with action, and never makes it about him. And if you want to know how his friends see him, one of them, I believe Yana, picked the Carlton Club song as his theme song, but added, if Chicken Treat had a jingle theme song though, I would vote that would be the one to go with first. Enough said. This episode isn't just about business. It's about showing up, about doing good, about leading from the heart, even when no one's watching. And this person is someone I believe that every business owner needs a Steve Archibald in their corner. Steve, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Tracy. You're making me blush. I don't know how to respond to that. That's fantastic.
That's
very
okay.
kind.
We have a bright red wall, so we all get lost in it. Happens to me as well. But no, thank you, Steve. Thank you for making time. And I really do mean that. I think you're someone that, you know, as a business owner, we all need someone like you in our corner who really believes in what we're doing and just promotes our brand.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
So, Steve, you've had a career that doesn't really fit into a neat job title. Not a lawyer, but you become a key part of a law firm. You're in strategy, people, growth, but what you're really known for is how you bring people together. How did you become a trusted part of a law firm's growth engine, and how did that happen?
I don't really know, to tell the truth. So my background is pretty varied. I started studying biomedical science at uni without any real knowledge of where I was going to go and what I was going to do with that. And I then found my way over time into recruitment. So I was recruiting accountants and lawyers with a bit of a journey that's crossed over not-for-profit along the way. The law firm that I work for now, Pragma Lawyers, I was really close friends with our managing director, Aaron, personally, and Pragma was a client of mine when I was in recruitment. So I was able to, from an external recruitment partner perspective, place a few people with the firm. I knew the firm really well. I had accepted a role with a charity 3 days a week, Zero to Hero, who I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about later on, and was having dinner with Aaron one night, and he just said, mate, come and work with us. We'll work the rest out later. That's now turned into a full-time role. I've been with the firm for close to 4 years.
Amazing.
And love it, yeah. Yeah, really love it.
What is it that you love, Steve, about that role?
What do I most love about the role? I've got my role sort of balances our recruitment, staff career development, business development and client management. So it's a very people-focused role inside and outside of the firm. We've got just over 50 staff.
Wow.
And I've told many people over the last couple of weeks that there's not one person in our firm that I wouldn't spend time with outside of work. So we've got this incredible team. It feels like I come into work every day and it's almost like I'm going to school and hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, great.
So I really enjoy being there. I enjoy having a bit of an impact on their careers so I can help our team sort of map their career, focus on building their networks. I get a lot of sort of satisfaction and purpose out of that. And I also get to work with a number of my sort of friends from an external perspective that might be working with accounting firms or insurance brokerages or finance firms and develop these referral partnerships. I get to spend a lot of time with people that I just enjoy spending time with and help their clients and our clients along the way.
And I'm curious to know, Pragma as a brand, do you feel like you've obviously bought into that some way? Because when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, Steve owns Pragma, he's the boss. And then I met your boss, I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
No, I love everything that Pragma stands for. Like I'm so loyal to the firm. We've got 4 directors. As I say before, Aaron's one of my closest friends. You sort of touched on it in that intro, but I think I play this unique role where I'm able to support him and the firm in many different ways. I just love what we've been able to build and the fact that I've been able to contribute to that and that I can see it every day in the interactions that I have with our team and our staff and our clients.
And Steve, you seem to have this low-key superpower for connecting people. Where did that come from?
Don't know. I think I was actually thinking about this this morning before coming in here this afternoon, and I have spoken about this previously, but I think a lot of that was born out of not having any friends when I went through school. So my whole schooling, I feel like I grew up as a little bit of an outsider. I didn't really fit into the cool group.
I was the same.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a weirdo.
Yeah, but I also didn't fit into the group that might be really committed to their studies and things as well. I just felt like I sat in the middle there. And then when I came out of school, I tried to consciously sort of build networks and friendships around myself. That was something I did very deliberately back then. And I feel like over time I've been really fortunate to be surrounded by really good people. I've sought out good people and I now get a lot of satisfaction and purpose out of being able to add value to the people that I care about. And I do that through introductions, I can do that through bringing good people together that might do business together or might just become really good friends or that sort of drives me. It's a driving force is to, number one, if I have an interaction with you, to see what I can do to help you or to add value to you in some capacity, and number 2, to be able to bring together my networks and do that together and have fun with good people.
And where did the, flip change for you from school to, adulthood? Was there like a shift that happened? Because I find some people never quite make that shift or change and they still kind of stay, on their own and feel quite alone. Was there a moment that kind of changed that for you?
There's a few key moments through that journey, to be honest. One of them, I worked at a gym selling gym memberships for a few years. So I was just that annoying guy that calls you on the phone and hassles you until you join the gym.
I'm thinking Alex Omosi, but yeah.
You tell me to go away one day, but I call you back tomorrow with a new special.
Oh, you're brave.
Yeah. So I did that and I worked in the gym for 3 odd years and I started exercising and feeling a bit more confident about myself. And that was sort of a key moment, a bit of a switch for me there. And then getting into recruitment and surrounding myself with these professional networks was another shift and a moment for me. And having had that desire to always make friendships, like I've carried that through with me right through my career. So I'm still really close friends with, when I first got into recruitment, I started recruiting health and safety. I'm really close friends with a dozen of these health and safety advisors that I came across 15 years ago that I have no real reason to stay in touch with and interact with, but I catch up with them all the time. So I don't know. Yeah, it all kind of switched and clicked, and I just started enjoying making friends and sort of went out and did more and more of it. It's worked out since.
Yeah, I mean, you're really great at it. I've seen you in action. Steve, everything you do, for business to community to personal relationships has a strong thread of service running through it. It feels like you're driven by something deeper, much more than just KPIs or career progression. What drives you to show up for people the way that you do, even when there's nothing in it for you?
One of them would be to go back to thinking about myself as a kid that didn't have any friends, didn't really feel like I fit in. I'll always seek out opportunities to help others, make them feel included, anything like that. And then beyond that, I started volunteering with a charity 15 odd years ago now called Camp Quality. So it's a children's charity that focus on providing experiences for kids that are going through a journey with cancer to bring them out of hospital and give them some fun and enjoyment. And I first went away on camp with Camp Quality. I remember kicking the footy with a young kid who had lost his leg to cancer.
Oh.
It still sort of gives me shivers and nearly makes me cry when I talk about this. But at that point in time, all he wanted to do, he saw me as someone super cool.
Yeah.
He's like, who's this cool guy that wants to kick the footy with me? And I thought to myself at the time, I was like, these kids need someone like that to be able to give them that experience. And I went on to volunteered with them and had a role with Camp Quality over here for over the period of 10 years, and I'm still really close to the organisation.
Great.
But following that, I had some really serious struggles for 3 or 4 years, my own mental health. And that's something that drives me as well. Like, I'm super passionate about helping men, particularly sort of young men to men in their 30s, open up and talk about things. And as a result of my own journey, have that genuine passion to help others and contribute in that space too.
And I think that's definitely something that the world needs. I'm also passionate about that. Men's health, I mean, everyone in general, has mental health issues and stuff, but especially for men, I think, guys are being conditioned to think that it's not okay to speak about things. So I think it's really great that you sort of lead in the way in that space.
Thank you. Yeah. I was one of those guys that never talked about anything.
Oh, really?
And that was like I think that was a real contributing factor to my own journey. Was at that point in time, I sort of had an image and an ego that I protected, and if you walked along the street one day and saw me, you'd think I was on top of the world, and then for the next 2 days I might be in bed crying, right?
Yeah,
but no one knew about that at the time, and it wasn't until I started talking and seeking support and help that I was able to sort of begin that journey to healing.
And if I may ask, why did you keep up that facade?
I think it comes back to that sort of ego thing. Digging into a little bit deeper here, Trace.
That's right. I can completely change the topic.
No.
I'm
as long
as
happy
you're comfortable.
to.
Did you say Trace? Hold up. You take your time.
I sort of felt like I never lived up to my dad's expectations of me. That's something that's been ingrained in me for a long while. And my dad is a great man, a beautiful man, but and we have a fantastic relationship. I think I always had this thing where I wanted to prove myself and I wanted to be seen to be successful. And if I let anyone see any weakness, that kind of fell away. So as much as I might have felt like I was being a bit fake in the image that I was portraying, I wanted people to see me as someone that was successful. I think going all the way back to my childhood when I never felt that. So,
you're making me giving me goosebumps because I can relate to everything that you're saying. I had a very similar upbringing. My parents are fantastic, but I think especially my dad, I was always still even to this day. I mean, I'm 40 and I still do. You want their approval. I've gotten to a stage where, you don't really need it, but you constantly feel like you have to prove yourself, be on show, strive for perfection all the time, be a certain way. And if you're not like getting A's and A pluses and just constantly giving it your all the time, well, then there's something wrong with you. And so I can completely relate to everything that you've said there. Steve, do you mind to walk us through your mental health journey and kind of where you were and kind of what helped you sort of work through that phase of your life?
Yeah, for sure. There's a few different what would I say, different angles to this or contributing factors, as I've said. But one of the points that I touched on earlier about going out and seeking friendships and trying to become sort of popular or in the pursuit of having networks and friends and things around me, I went down a bit of the wrong path and spent way too much time with some of the wrong people. Through that journey, had some struggles with alcohol and with drugs and all of that sort of stuff. And I think I was digging myself into a bit of a hole without realising what I was doing. I then lost a few friends to suicide, and at the same time I reconnected to that kid that I spoke about earlier on. That
Yes.
I was a really gentle kid. I used to sit there looking at birds all day, every day, and grew up in a really lovely household with a beautiful family unit. I felt like I lost all of that. Like I was so far from the person that I should be, and I was so disappointed in myself, and my relationships with friends and family were starting to crumble pretty badly. I then had a business relationship. I'd started a recruitment business with a mate of mine, and that lasted for about 12 months. And as a result of a lot of the choices that I made and my mental health, that fell apart pretty quickly, which contributed to me, when we talk about me wanting to look like I was successful, suddenly it's like everyone looks at me and I've got this failed business and I'm in this dark hole and I don't know what to do or how to crawl out, and a lot of the relationships around me are falling apart and I'm a failure because my business didn't work. And so, all of that kind of combined to leave me in this little limbo where I just didn't know who I was or what I was doing. I was fortunate at the time that I had a partner that had supported me through all of that. She's fantastic. She's a beautiful person and had supported me through this journey that I'd gone through. I was able to, with the support of my family, access professional support. So my parents helped me go see a doctor because it was so hard at the time to even let anyone else know that I had these issues. So finally leaned back on my parents. They helped me to go see a doctor, to get a mental health plan, to go see a psychologist, to go and access support through various programs that assist men going through all these different things. And over a period of a couple of years, I worked really hard on myself, and I'm really fortunate to have had so many good people around me supporting me through that, come out the other side. And for the last, say, 5 years, I've felt like life's great, but I have to be, proactive about supporting my own mental health every day. So I live in Scarborough. If I can get up early and move my body, even if that's just going for a short walk or jumping in the ocean most mornings, if I do that and I eat fruit and veggies and drink lots of water and listen to podcasts and don't drink too much alcohol, if I can do all of those things, I know that I'm going to give myself the best chance to be happy. Fortunately, I'm really happy most days, but I still have little dips every now and then.
Of course.
I still have down days, and I'm just conscious of how to act when I do, right, and how to get up and be so much happier the next day.
So I must say, Steve, I was so impressed, when I did first meet you, on how you do actually swim in the ocean every day. Is that like a ritual that you do, or?
Yeah, it's it was something that, as I say, going through that journey of my own, I realised I hadn't ever really done any ongoing exercise on sort of a daily basis and committed to it. And I realised the impact that would have on my happiness and well-being. But I'm fortunate enough to live in an apartment that's just across the road from the beach. So the beach is right there. But yeah, put them through this suicide awareness training course, let them explore themselves, take off the mask that they might wear, give them the tools to put a plan together to go back and impact their community when they come back. So I've been fortunate enough to attend half a dozen of those camps over the last 5 years myself. It has had a massive impact for me as well as those students. But to see these young people go through this sort of transformative journey, I wish that there was a bit more of that around when I was in school, for someone that didn't feel like I fit in, to go away and spend this time with these young leaders and give some tools to understand yourself and have a bit of an impact. I'm passionate about sort of driving that forward, and I'll encourage anyone that's got teenage children or people that they care about in their life to look into the program and to encourage them to apply. And then more recently, I've been involved with an organisation called Bloke. So you spoke about that just briefly in the introduction there. On the 22nd of March this year, we hosted a walk. So these walks are hosted nationally and a couple internationally on an annual basis. It's the first time we've held one in Perth.
Great.
We had 300 guys walk 25Ks around Perth.
Amazing.
We've facilitated some opportunities for them to think about why they were there, to think about mental health generally, what they might have struggled with, talk to the person next to them. And then off the back of that, we've built this ongoing community with 100 guys. So far, they're in a WhatsApp chat. 20 of them went for a 10K walk last weekend. We've organised some ice baths, saunas coming up. We've organised a barbecue. We're getting them working out at the gym together,
Right.
providing them all these opportunities to connect, to build friendships, to open up, to do to partake in activities that are healthy rather than, oh, hey, I need to see my mates, I'm going to go down the pub. So, hey, I want to see my mates, I'm going to go for a big walk, or I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to have an ice bath and a sauna, or, yeah. And I think if you walk alongside someone, I don't know what it's like for women, but I know with guys, rather than looking across the table, it's a bit more confronting, right? But if you are walking alongside someone and you're active, the barriers come down a little bit naturally. I really enjoy at work being able to go for a walk with my colleagues. If we want to have a chat about something that's going on inside or outside of work, to go and sit in the park next to each other and like look at the birds. I do that pretty often as well. Yeah. So just getting out of the office and away from the table is, it's a bit of a game changer, I think. Having a bit of physical challenge, and like struggling to be tired, that really opens it up. You get extra able when you're going through that too. Hey?
Yeah.
I mentioned my family earlier on, so I'm really fortunate to have a super supportive family around me, and a really good group of key friendships.
I met with one of my best friends the other day, Paz Princey, was on the podcast.
Yes.
Paz is one of those people that I can really lean on. That I first met Paz when I was going through some of my tougher times, and he'll tell you that I probably wasn't the best version of myself back then, but we then became really close through doing the Cape to Cape trek with Zero to Hero. So for 5 days we walk 135 Ks down in the southwest, which is a beautiful experience. I was fortunate enough to do that with a group that Paz and his sister were on. And through that 5 days, as you can imagine, you go from hardly knowing someone to feel like you've known them your whole life. I've done that with Paz. Paz and I over the last couple of years have sort of worked together, raised about 100K for Zero to Hero, which has been incredible. Yes. We had a golf day the other week that raised 30 odd grand, just over 30 grand, which was really nice.
Yeah, that's great.
But I've done that Cape to Cape 4 times with a lot of different people in my life, and I can say that a lot of the closest relationships that I have now have sort of formed off the back of doing that. Everyone struggles, and we all struggle, right? But you don't need to struggle alone. I feel like, based on my own experience only, if I'm to share some of my struggles with the people that I care about, most of the weight goes away. Again, guys aren't great at sharing, but if you can talk to anyone near you, I often text a mate or call a friend and say, hey, I need a chat, or can I come see you, and I've got something that I need to talk about. If you have those people in your life that you feel comfortable opening up to, I just encourage people to do a bit more of that. And if they don't have anyone and communities in their life that they can open up to, they can reach out to me and I'll tell them where to find them. I think if you can play that role for someone too, if you can be there for someone through some of their toughest times and support them in ways that it might just be a text message, or it might just be a call, or just, hey, I'm thinking about you, how are you, is there anything that I can do for you?
Yeah.
The relationships that you form through that are so much deeper and more meaningful. People in growth. I think I've learnt that you can go so much further by having the right people around you. So I have been fortunate over the last few years to do some great things, both in fundraising for charity, working alongside people like Paz and others, but also in business by just bringing the right people together and leveraging each other's strengths. I just think there's so much more that you can do, and you can go so much further by bringing good people together. When I speak about my own journey with mental health, I'll often tell people that I'm really grateful for what I went through when I did. I feel like I'm so much more conscious of how I feel and what I can do to make sure that I'm as happy as I can, but also to support the people around me and not to fall to dealing with the wrong habits. I'm not going to be like a 50-year-old dude that sits at the pub every day because he doesn't understand his feelings and know how to deal with that. It's also made me so much more grateful. So I get a lot of happiness and feel simple gratitude every day for the opportunity to jump in the ocean, just have a really nice coffee in the morning, or when I look at birds, like I love birds. I grew up as this kid that was obsessed with birds. I've got a woolly wagtail at home that flies in the morning and I feed him and he sits on my finger.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And just something like that is like the most simple moment of happiness for me. Sets my day up really nicely and really well. I'm also grateful for what I went through because it's allowed me to build so many more meaningful relationships around me.
Yeah.
And connected me to some of the people that mean the most in my life. So there's not a lot of bad stuff that, as much as it really sucked at the time, there's so many positives that have come out of my struggles.
And it sounds to me as well like a great reminder is to appreciate those smaller things in life. Like sometimes it's easy to get wound up, in the ego stuff and, all those sorts of things. But like you said, just looking at birds or kind of taking that time out to really be present. It's the smaller things, in life that can really add more meaning.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Steve, I have seen your LinkedIn following. I am super jealous and envious all at the same time. Now, with our clients, we obviously promote to them being present on LinkedIn. Why do you feel it's important to be on LinkedIn and to show up there?
LinkedIn's been pretty big for me over 10 or 15 years. So I started with the recruitment business many years ago, just like reposting jobs on LinkedIn. Didn't really know how to utilize the platform or whatever, and probably came across a few people that I placed in jobs, but it was a very transactional sort of usage of LinkedIn back then. Over the years, I've been fortunate to build a really solid base of connections on LinkedIn. I don't have Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that.
Oh, you're good, yeah.
LinkedIn's my only social media platform, and as a result, I probably spend a little bit too much time on there. But I've found that as a good way to engage and to promote some of the organisations that I do great work with, including Zero to Hero, and a lot of I can sort of engage with a lot of our clients and friends of Pragma through some of the stuff that we do on LinkedIn. I also just really enjoy it, and I feel like I found a bit of an authentic way to engage on LinkedIn. I'm not scared to have a joke on there. I used to feel like I couldn't sort of drop the corporate formal image on LinkedIn, but I don't care now. I'm just sort of pretty authentic to who I am. And I'm also really happy to share that I've had some struggles with my mental health on there so that I can encourage others to reach out if they would like to too. But it's just kind of snowballed from there, and I keep sort of picking up followers here and there, and it means that I can connect with more really good people. So I'm really happy to see it grow.
I think the nice thing as well I've noticed with your LinkedIn, it's a great way to create awareness about all the wonderful things that you're involved in as well.
Absolutely.
What's one thing you think businesses need more of?
Businesses need more of? I think, not to toot my own horn here, but I think more, particularly professional services business that I engage with could do with someone like me.
100%. I agree. I said that in the beginning. I called it.
My role within a law firm or an accounting firm or anything like that is super unique. And I feel like, number one, being able to bring people into the firm, but number two, I've sort of found this role naturally, organically, that I'm not one of the directors and I'm not the HR manager. But I'm like this guy that you might be able to talk to if something is going on in life.
Sure.
Who is able to, without compromising any confidentiality, get you the support that you might need inside or outside the firm, or just have someone to have a chat to. If you need to go home in the afternoon, we can organise all of that. So that's a big part of my role too. That's just kind of evolved over time, and I think there's so much value in that. As well as some of the work that I do in checking on our service levels and how we're working with clients and what we can improve on. I think there's so much value in my role, and I think more firms should have someone like me.
Yeah. And I guess for the business owners out there, as an employee, what are some key things that make working at Pragma so enjoyable?
I mentioned before that I love our people. So a large number of some of my closest friends work with Pragma, and then, as I say, there's not one person in there I wouldn't spend time with outside of work. So the culture sort of naturally evolves around all of those good people. Pragma is also really good at, or we try to be really good at getting a gauge on how our staff are feeling, what more we can do to look after them. We've just done a wellness survey across the firm, and we're sort of collating all the results on that. We do that twice a year. We try to engage our staff as much as we can in decisions that the firm's making and listen to their input on what we might be able to do to help them out. We resource the team really well, I feel. So often those in professional services might get a bit of a bad rap for working really long hours and not thinking about their staff's sort of burnout rates and their commitments outside of work. But we've got a really solid team that means unless there's really pressing client deadlines, our team don't need to work outside of the usual sort of office hours. They're not in the office late or logging in. And so we try to do as much right as we can, but just always being conscious of trying to do a little bit more too.
And Steve, when is it that you feel most like yourself? Is it at work or in the ocean or?
The first thing that came to my mind is if I'm on a beach in Bali.
Nice. I tend to agree. I feel like myself then
too. When I was a lot younger, I used to just go to Bali by myself and sit on the beach for a week.
Nice.
I've made all these interesting local friends over in Bali that I go and visit now. But if I'm just sitting on a beach in Bali, that's probably where I feel most myself. Otherwise, jumping in the ocean or just being around good people in whatever setting that might be. As long as I'm surrounded by good people that I can interact and engage with and try and do something that means something together, any of that sort of stuff is where I'm most myself.
Steve, if you could go back to when you lost your business and you felt like you were in that really dark place, what's one bit of advice you would give yourself and why?
I think it would be to be kind to myself. So I had the negative self-talk in my head at that point in time, like all day, every day on repeat, was just like, you're a failure. Everyone's going to know that you failed.
Yeah.
Yet you haven't lived up to others' expectations of you. You could have been doing so much more. Essentially, I was like emotionally abusing myself.
Yeah, as we do.
Yeah. So it took me a lot of work with a psychologist at the time to try and unpack that, to get through that. But I was only sort of exasperating the way that I was feeling and making myself feel worse by the way that I was talking to myself. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy, right? We sometimes the hardest to ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves and the way we treat ourselves. And that's a shift I had to make as well. We almost beat ourselves up about everything that we do, right? And I'm really glad that you shared that, to be kind to, yourself firstly as well, because a lot of us forget that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve, what's one small act of kindness or something someone did for you that you've never forgotten?
We were sort of talking about it just before, but I had those few key people when I was going through my struggles that would call me almost every day.
Wow.
So even when I wouldn't answer the phone, so I was too scared to answer the phone, but I still appreciate that they're calling because they know that something's wrong and they want to support me. That has kind of evolved and turned into something for me. So I've got this reminder in my diary that I've had for 5 years every day just to call someone, and it might be someone that I haven't spoken to in a year, great. 2 years, 3 years. A couple of weeks back I called one of my friend's mums that I hadn't spoken to in years to ask her how she was. So
was she surprised?
Oh, she was so surprised. But at the same time she was so grateful for the call, right? And it was just sometimes when I call people that I haven't spoken to for a while, they're like, why are you calling? What do you want? I don't want anything. I just want to call and see how you are and catch up on how life is, and that adds value to my life too, is reconnecting with those people that I might not have spoken to for a little while. So I try and do that every day, but that's born out of doing the same thing in reverse for people that were there for me.
Yes.
I have a friend that we used to, he was a safety advisor that I met through that journey that I said in recruitment early days. I'm getting emotional talking about this, Trace.
Oh, of course, it's fine.
He passed away a couple of days after Christmas, 6 or 7 years ago. And he was someone that meant so much to me in my life, that inspired me, that always had my back and always checked on me. A couple of days before Christmas, I sent him a message and he sent me some photos back of him and his kids having the best time over Christmas. And then a couple of days later, he passed away, unfortunately. But he sticks in my mind, and I often think about Clay and my interactions with other people and think, oh, what would he have done? Or he was always there for me. And so that sort of, he continues to inspire me to do good stuff and to check in with people around me as well.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry for your loss as well, Steve. I can see that he meant a lot to you. I just want to say, I really utmost respect for you, just being so vulnerable, it really takes, it's so brave, and it's so nice to see. And I believe when we lead the way, we make it okay for others to do the same. So thank you so much. I just appreciate the 159% of authenticity that you always carry every time.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Steve, where is the best place for our listeners to go should they wish to connect with you?
As I said, I don't have any Facebook or Instagram or anything, so it's really only LinkedIn.
Oh, you have to get on that. Come on. I've seen that LinkedIn following.
Probably just find me on LinkedIn or have a look at Pragma's website and you'll be able to find my contact details on there as well.
Great. And Steve, was there anything else you wanted to share? I see you've got some notes there. Is there anything else
No,
you
not
wanted
at
to
all.
share
I
or
just had some stuff there that I was going to refer back to if asked the question, but this conversation has been fantastic. I think I just wanted to have a chat about what we're doing with Pragma and organisations including Zero to Hero and the work we're doing with Spoke for Bloke. So we've covered everything that I wanted to say. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, Steve. For our audience, Steve has been an absolute champ today. We had a bit of tech issues, which he's been very understanding. So
It's okay.
Thank you, Steve. I've so enjoyed our conversation. I was really looking forward to today. Thank you for making time for us and for everything that you shared.